Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. It's Monday morning, but it's not a great Monday morning because Manchester United lost to Aston Villa. I'm joined by Ben Foster. Don't start sniggering. You played. I was nearly said you were a United great. You played for United
once or twice, not many times, but yeah. You're like me though, because we're from the Midlands. We know a lot of Villa fans, and so yesterday was a bit of a tough one to take. So my best mate, when I was growing up as a kid, was a big Villa fan, and so I inherently have this will for them to want to lose. Painful one yesterday.
1995 since they've beat us at Villa Park, and we gave up so feebly. Lots to talk about, Ben. I want to talk about Ronaldo. A lot of people blaming Ronaldo. I want to talk about that. Is it really time for Ronaldo to be shifted on from United's rebuild? But the first thing I'm going to ask you, we do it most weeks, goalkeeping is obviously 3 goals conceded for United. David De Gea had a fantastic week. In fact, he was top of our United Stand chart show on Saturday for his last 2 performances. Nice. 3 goals conceded yesterday. My opinion, as a non-goalkeeping expert, was that the 3rd goal, you've got no chance from Ramsey. I thought the first goal, Leon Bailey's hit it early and gone across him. And then the 2nd goal, the free kick. What were your thoughts?
I think just purely from I don't think they're mistakes, first and foremost. Let me just put it out there. I don't think they're mistakes, but I think there are things that he could have done better for the first 2 goals. So the first one, like you say, fair play to Leon Bailey. He took it early, which is great, and he kind of drilled it. He didn't smash it, but he drilled it. But I think De Gea needs to be set a little bit sooner. For one.
Because he moved his foot, didn't he? But he seemed to be more balanced to the right.
Yeah, so he kind of... It was one of those balls where it was just above his foot, but below his hand. So it's one of those where, as a goalie, you have to make a quick decision to go, I'm going to go with my foot or I'm going to go with my hand. And it looked to me like he didn't really know which one he was going to go with. Yeah. And he ended up just sort of falling back. And that's the bit, I think, from a goalkeeper coaching perspective, you try and teach your goalkeeper to stand there and react to it, but he didn't. He kind of just fell back, and it's a natural thing to do, and a lot of goalkeepers do it. But goalkeeper coaches will tell you, no, I don't want you falling back. I want you to make an instant decision of whether to go with your hand or your foot and stand as big as you possibly can. I think then you could possibly save it. It's savable anyway. That's what I'm saying. It's savable. The 2nd goal, the free kick, I just think that don't get me wrong, it's a decent free kick. It's a decent one.
How big is the referee getting that wrong there? Because he did it on a free kick for Ronaldo in the second half. He's put the wall back 12 yards instead of 10. Now, if you're taking a free kick, which I've done plenty of time, that's easier to get up and over.
For sure.
Does that make the goalkeeper's job obviously harder, but does that make De Gea's mistake? What's he done? Because he sort of, again, he does full stretch dive, but it looks like a slow dive.
It is, yeah. So, again, though, but I want leaders in my team to say, ref, no, that's too far. You've taken it too far.
I think Ronaldo did, and he just laughed at him.
You've got to make a point of it. Like, even if you go and try and get a yellow card or something to march it out, do something like that to highlight the fact that,
I think Bruno probably would have done that.
No, this isn't on. You can't do that. It's not fair. But the problem is, with Luca Digne, he's got a quality left foot. Everybody knows that. And if he gets it up and over the wall from that distance, with the distance that they were as well, it's a problem. It is a real problem. As a goalie, you know that once it leaves his foot, you've got about a second. You've got literally about a second to get from one side over to the other.
Right.
And it was just inside the post. It's just for me that he didn't fully dive for it. He didn't push off. Yeah. And it is hard when you haven't got a lot of time to react. You have to just sort of go that way and hope your body sort of takes you. But he just looked to me like he didn't have enough strength at range to be able to get a quick step in and go.
Yeah.
I think that's the bit. From a goalkeeping perspective, goalie coaching perspective, I want to see my goalie just get a step in and go, because that's all you do in training. You know that there's plenty of time, plenty of shots coming where you're not going to have the time to react, so you have to just go step bang. And he didn't look like he had that strength to be able to do that.
Is that a problem because it's not your side, it's the wall side? Because if he goes the other side, everyone's going to go, that's his side, he's got to save it.
Yeah, I think that's if it's the David De Gea side and it goes in there, that's his fault. He's made a mistake there. That's why I'm saying I don't think any of these are mistakes. I just think you can always
could have done better.
Yeah, as a goalie and a goalie coach, you will always look at it and go, right, you need to be in the optimal position to give yourself the best chance of making the save. And I think just for the first 2, there's little things that he probably could have done a bit better.
Okay. Interesting, though, because I think yesterday... I'm very big on this. I said it on my match reaction yesterday. I don't want to individualise the performance yesterday. I think, look, Martinez has been brilliant. He had a bad part to play in all 3 goals. He plays the dodgy pass to Luke Shaw that leads to the free kick. He gets outrun by Leon Bailey. And the 3rd goal, I think his header leads to the counter-attack. Yeah. But I don't think you can individualise it. And I think, I'm not surprised by what you said about De Gea there. I think everybody was off it. I want to talk about why they were off it in a minute. But one player that's certainly been called out is Ronaldo, who's the captain. I've heard people saying he doesn't look interested, or worse, he's not good enough anymore. Is it time for Ronaldo to go? Have you seen... the reason I asked that is we spoke 2 weeks ago about him storming off. 2 weeks later, he's given the captaincy. A lot of people were quite surprised about how you have that turnaround. Even if you've gone in and bought, Eric Ten Hag and Apple in every day and, Leclerc's the lot, it's very quick to turn that around and get the captaincy back. He could have given it to De Gea, he could have given it to Martinez, he could have given it to Casemiro, gave it to Ronaldo. Obviously, you mentioned a couple of things there about, is Ronaldo engaged enough to be a captain? What's your feeling around the Ronaldo situation at the moment? Do you think that the criticism is fair because it's back on him again today? And do you think ultimately that he should be part of that? Because we're not scoring many goals.
No, I think the mistake is Ronaldo's a great player, and I still think he's good enough to be playing for Manchester United regularly. Like, maybe not start every single game, but I still think he's good enough to be there because he'll score you goals for sure. I think the problem is, though, that when the rest of the team see him storming off down the side of the pitch, and then the very next game against Sheriff he's playing, and then the next game after that he's made captain, I think that leaves a bad taste in certain people's mouths. I think that is...
It's interesting.
So we've had this as well this week with Garnacho, where Bruno's been speaking out about him, the manager spoke out about him and spoke about his attitude and stuff like that. I think players like Garnacho need role models and leaders to show them the way and set the standard. And when he sees people like Ronaldo doing that, he thinks, well, if Cristiano Ronaldo can do that, I can do that as well then, sort of thing. So I think that's the problem. And I think a lot of the other senior players in the team will be thinking, it's not cool, really. It's not cool. He does that and then he gets given the captaincy. Yesterday, I think you've got to give it to Casemiro. I saw Ten Hag's comments after the game where he said Casemiro's English isn't perfect. But it doesn't matter. Once you're on the pitch, I give it to Martinez or I give it to Casemiro, because I think both of them, they're consistent performers, but they demonstrate by showing you what they do. They're not going to be the ones maybe talking and pointing and positioning and all that kind of stuff, but they will just do that with urgency and energy and the will to win. And I think people will feed off more than seeing Ronaldo with the captaincy. Do
you think it's a problem with... I would say this again, I don't want to individualise it. I felt Ronaldo was as poor as anybody, as Rashford, as Garnacho, as Donny or anyone. I think collectively, we'll talk about it in a minute, but they were all poor. But moving forward... it looks unlikely that Ronaldo will get his move in January. Yeah. Do you think this is going to be a problem for Ten Hag if he keeps trying to put Ronaldo in the team? Do you think actually... I suppose the question is, do you think Man United are better with Ronaldo in the team, or do you think they're better with him on the bench? Now, Gary Neville said a few weeks ago he thinks United are better off without Ronaldo in it, and he got snubbed, as we discussed last week.
Yeah.
But as a serious question, hopefully Ronaldo's not watching and he's not going to block us all, are they better with him or without him? Or have you not seen enough to judge?
Yeah, no, I've seen enough. It's just, I think if Ronaldo and Ten Hag had a good relationship and they both respected each other and got on really well, then I think Ten Hag could be in a position where he would say, listen, Cristiano, I'm not going to play you every week, but there are going to be games when I'm going to need you to start and I need you to be the man and you need to lead and all that kind of stuff. And you'd like to think that Ronaldo would respect Ten Hag's opinion enough to go, yeah, cool, I'm on board with that. When I'm not playing, I'll get behind everybody and I'll help out. And I just sense that it's probably not that relationship. So when Ronaldo is being left out, he takes it as a personal dig. He takes it as like an affront on his character or his playing abilities. Whereas if they had a really good relationship, I think it could be smoothed over. I still think Ronaldo's good enough to start for pretty much every single Premier League team, bar, do you know what, even if it's Man City, I think he could start for Man City and score goals. He would definitely score goals at Man City, actually. The problem is that there's just not really that much behind him. Martial's in and out. It's good to see him back yesterday, but he's in and out. You know that he's never far away from getting another injury. Rashford is a bit hit and miss. I know he's been scoring goals, but still, he's a bit hit and miss. Young Garnacho, probably still too young to see. Sancho. So I think that's the problem is in the January transfer window, Man United could really do with going out and busting the bank and getting a bad boy striker.
I think it's interesting, the squad dynamic as we move forward is that I still don't think, I agree with you, I still think there's an uneasiness there. And I think there's an uneasiness within the Manchester United squad as well, whereby there will still be, although everyone's putting a smile on their face, there will still be people in that squad who are like, why is he playing?
100%.
Why is he doing that?
That's how it works.
But it's all rosy with Ten Hag at the moment. A couple of results like yesterday, and so I think you'll start to get the...
Oh, yeah.
The
stories will come out.
Yeah.
The stories will come out for sure. Because
and you don't know whether the club are putting pressure on Ten Hag about Ronaldo as well. There's a massive investment in there.
I would like to think that Ten Hag's the kind of guy that he will do it his own way.
Nobody else at the moment, though, has he?
I'd like to think so. It's like his arm is forced.
Yeah.
Genuinely, it's like his arm is forced at the minute. There's nobody else. And like I say, when you play a game on Thursday night, away, was it away? It was.
Yeah, Spain, Thursday night.
Late, so
had to win it and by 2 goals.
People will say, it's only away, it's only Spain. It's not just that. You travel the day before, 2 days before. You don't get back till the next day at like 2 or 3 in the morning or something like that. It really does affect you. The travelling part of it is massively taxing. Mentally, emotionally, all that kind of stuff, it just tires you out. So when you're turning up to Villa Park on a Sunday afternoon who've just got a brand new manager in the door...
Whole week off from
playing their last game, they're going to bring the energy, they're going to bring the intensity because they all want to impress the new manager. And I think that was the problem on Sunday. It was like a perfect storm of... It was fairly easy to predict, I'd say, to be honest with you, that Villa would actually go and get something.
I think the interesting thing is we did the preview on Friday night and I said, draw, 1-1, tight game. I don't think we're going to win this. The surprising thing was the number of United fans who thought we were going there to win. Wow. And then you hit the nail on their head. It's Sunday night we had to play 10. I mean, people said Arsenal had to do it. Arsenal changed 7 players. Yeah. We changed 1 from that starting team. How difficult is that? You know, you've been in and around dressing rooms. I know the goalkeeping job's a little bit different to playing outfield, but if you're and it's not just that. I mean, we played basically for the last 5 weeks. We played 3 games a week. He hasn't really rotated the way Arteta's been able to. So you play Thursday night. You've had a load of games before. And then you're playing Sunday lunchtime. How hard is that for United players and how big a boost is that for a team that's had all week off training, getting ready for a game with the new manager?
It's people again. It sounds like people say, "Oh, you're travelling first class, you're travelling luxury." It doesn't matter. It does not matter, honestly. The mental toll on it of just another game and another game and another game. It's like being in the Championship. You know you're playing Tuesday or Wednesday and then you're playing Saturday. And then you're playing Tuesday or Wednesday and then you're playing Saturday. It does. It takes its toll on you. But... What I was going to say there. Oh, that's what I was going to say, sorry. Yeah, this will get there. But I think as well that when, and this sounds bad, and take it in the right way, the people who are the organisers of Europa League and all that kind of stuff, if you were playing in the Champions League, it's a lot easier to play on a Wednesday in the Champions League, and then play in the Premier League on a Saturday because the glitz and glamour and glory of playing in the biggest club competition in the world is the bit that makes you go, I'll get out for this again, I'll get up for this again. But when you're playing in the Europa League, and pity the teams that are playing in the Conference League and all that kind of stuff, count me out of that, mate, honestly. The amount of times I've been at clubs where... So when I was at West Brom back in the day, it's a different story completely, but even then, if you're in like 6th or 7th position come the end of the season, you don't want to get into Europe. You don't, because... You know you're going to be playing Thursday night, Sunday night, every week pretty much, and it just buggers you. It does. You need a squad of 22, 25 players that you can realistically rely on to play and change around week in, week out for the best part of 6 months of the season. Yeah. And it takes its toll, mate. It does.
You can't, I've mentioned this a few times, and obviously we've got the World Cup coming up, and then Man United from January to May could be playing 3 games a week for 5 months. Oh. And the fact that some United fans, to be fair, think that, it's fine, you just get on with it. You can't just get on with it because it's relentless. Yeah. And we've already seen, look, no disrespect to Villa, they deserve to win the game, but that for me was an exhausted United side. Does Ten Hag have to take any responsibility there that he wanted to beat Sociedad 2-0 to top the group? We didn't. And then, obviously, he wants to beat Villa and we didn't. So it's a double failure as a manager, albeit we did win in Spain. Has he got... What could he have done differently? A lot of people say, well, Eriksen was terrible in both games. You should have played Fred. He should have rotated more. We've already spoke about the front line. You can't rotate it. Like the Martial was the only player who was back, and he obviously couldn't start. Midfield, you could play Fred and McTominay. He did play Donny van der Beek. Defence, all right, you could bring Maguire in for Lindelof, but let's be honest, that's just flip-flops from United fans.
Phil Jones could have had a go.
Well, he's not fit. He hasn't been fit since about the year 1982, I don't think. But yeah, he could have rotated, but really, there's no right back to rotate. The only rotation he could have done was Malacia at left back.
The midfield as
and
well.
And then Fred and McTominay for Ericsson and Donny, which people would have probably moaned about.
Yeah, I think they'd have moaned about it, but I still would have done it. I would have done. I think if you look at the bigger picture, I think top 4 this season it's actually achievable. It's something that you can really get into this season. So I think you need to give everything, all your energy behind getting in the top 4 for Man United this season.
Yeah.
Playing against Sociedad, when you know you're qualified anyway, but it's the difference between being first or second, I think you rotate the midfield. I think you just keep that fresh for the Sunday game against Aston Villa, put the big boys back in, but when you're playing Thursday night away in Spain, give the other guys a go. Like I say, rotate maybe the left or right back, change the midfield up, Fred and McTominay. Keep that energy for the Sunday, because that's the big one. That's the most important game.
I think I think Ten Hag's done a really good job at United, but one thing I think maybe there's a bit of a crack is that he's never managed in the Premier League before. I'm sure he's aware that you play Thursday, Sunday, but he might not be aware. And I remember Ralf Rangnick saying this, when you played in the Bundesliga, when you play the top 6, it's difficult. The bottom half, forget about it. And the trouble is in the Premier League, if you play a Fulham or a Bournemouth on a Sunday when they've had a week off, it don't matter how good you are.
In the Eredivisie in Holland, if you're playing the team who are bottom of the league, I don't care who you are. If you're Ajax, you're beating them 4-5-0 comfortably every single time, whether you're tired or not, right? You can play the bottom team in the Premier League, and if you're not on it, you're losing.
Forest Liverpool,
Liverpool, it doesn't matter who you are, you're losing, yeah? It's as simple as that. It is not as easy. So I think that's the sort of thing. It's probably been a bit of an eye-opener as well. Like I say, the fact that Villa have got a new manager in, everybody's going to be firing on all cylinders, I think he underestimated it a little bit.
Top 4 for United, we talk about it on every show. Where are you at the moment, and how important do you think, in general, for Newcastle, because they're up there, everybody, is the January transfer window something you can ignore if you want top 4?
No, you've got to go for it. Newcastle are going to go for it. Arsenal, possibly, but they're firing Arsenal. Arsenal look genuinely up there with Man City. Not quite, but they're up there with Man City. They've got a way of playing and they stick to it relentlessly and religiously, and they look like a genuine threat. Against Chelsea, Chelsea just looked inferior in all aspects. They just looked inferior. And that's the bit for me where I think, well, Man City, Arsenal, guaranteed top 2. Newcastle, mate, they look brilliant the other day.
No, European football for them as well. They get a week off every week.
Fresh as a daisy every single match day. They've got the squad. They're going to invest again in January.
Dangerous.
So in all honesty, if Liverpool are going to be coming back into it...
I've had that bet with you. I think Liverpool are getting
it. If Liverpool are going to come back into it and they're going to give it a good go between now and the end of the season, mate, there's probably 3 or 4 teams that realistically are looking for that 4th spot. So... the worry for me is like they've lost against Aston Villa, they've lost against Brentford, they've lost against Brighton. Them sort of teams, they're the teams that everybody else seems to be beating. You know what I mean? Newcastle are beating them teams, Arsenal are beating them teams. So that's my worry, is the inconsistency of losing to these smaller teams.
It's an interesting one. Thanks for coming on, Ben.
Absolute pleasure, mate.
I think with the top 4, I've said it all along, I can't predict it. I think it's going to be very, very difficult for many reasons, and I agree. I think that you've got to spend in January, whether United will do it or not.
Mate, who are you going to get? That's my worry is. I said to you last week as well, you need to get a bad boy striker. I don't know where that bad boy striker is. Everybody wants that bad boy striker.
If you've got the money, you can get it. The trouble is the money at United.
Yeah.
We'll see. Thanks everyone for watching. Smash a like. We'll speak to you on the next one.